during the 2 days off that we are getting for the Pavli celebration, I'm sure children will utilize it to the best to prepare their practices which they are going to submit for the celebration day, and that is the 20th. Of course, the themes, as already expressed and said, are based on unity, trust, respect, family, society, nature, happiness, gratitude, and of course, technology. And under this, creative practices like dramatics, music, dance, clay modeling, painting, photography, and short film making, etc., can be submitted for this particular event. And of course, a brief description of about how your project is linked to the theme. Okay, attach your project or provide a link from where the project can be downloaded. Okay, and of course, submit your entries as an attachment or a Google Drive link to, of course, the Gmail address, that is SIP creative practices @gmail.com. Okay, so that was about the creative practices. And of course, since for this session we break into two. For Hindi session, you have a different link, and all those who are continuing with the English session can continue in this with this link itself. And of course, I'll welcome our resource person, that is Sharmila Didi is here, I think. So, Namaste Didi.
Yeah, Namaste Manisha ji.
Yes, Namaste Didi. So I think if any of we, though we have 5 minutes yet to start with our session, and I'm sure children are familiar, students are familiar with you by now, yet I'll just give a brief, I'll say a little about Sharmila Didi. Sharmila Didi is MBBS from Mahatma Gandhi Medical College, Indore, MD in pediatrics from Regional Children's
Manisha,
Hospital. Yes, Didi.
Manisha, not necessary, actually. I think everybody
Not necessary. So we can, yes, Didi. So we can take, yes, Didi.
Arjun will
Please.
Be doing, he'll be there in the sharing session today. And
yes, Didi.
He will take questions on creative practices and other things also to do with UHV
wonderful.
and all. Be available on the sharing.
Yes, Didi, that's wonderful, because I think children will have a lot of queries regarding the creative practices too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So he'll be there. In this sharing session. In the Hindi session, there will be group discussion.
That's good. That's really wonderful. So, Didi, there are two children who have the mic. I think if they like to talk to you about something, will that be fine, Didi? Okay. So I hope our participants watched right here, right now. And so that the discussion today, which is going to be related to right here, right now also. So maybe Aman Khare, would you like to say something? Aman? Okay. Didi, am I audible?
Yeah, Didi, you are audible.
Okay. Aman, would you like to say something, beta? You had raised your hand and the mic is also with you.
I think we can ask, if people have really seen the movie, if all of you have seen the movie on Zoom, you can raise your hand if you have seen the movie on YouTube. Yesterday, I said that everybody this movie, and then we can discuss it. So
yes,
those of you who have seen the movie, can you raise your hands?
Ma'am.
Yes, Mamta, would you like to know something? Mamta, you've seen the movie?
Yes, ma'am, but what it is exactly. I didn't get that properly.
Okay, we'll be having a lot of discussion about it today, Didi.
Yes. Can we also check what are the responses on YouTube? Have people watched this movie?
Very well. Maybe if
If get some idea if a lot of
yes,
people have watched it or not, otherwise we'll play it here.
yes, we can just have a response from either Minu Didi. Minu Didi, if you're connected to YouTube, please could you let us know if children are giving a response whether they've watched.
There is a flood of yes.
Oh, very nice, very nice, very nice. So let's.
But we are not
Yes.
on Zoom.
Yes, Didi, I'll lower all the hands and I'll request
Yeah.
the participants to raise their hands if they watched. Okay, dear children and dear participants, if you watched the movie last evening, do raise your hand so that we get an idea of. Okay, the number is increasing, Didi. It's okay. Round about 40 hands risen. 40 hands are risen, and we have 719, 41 hands now. 719, 18 participants at Zoom. So, Didi, shall we play a little? Or
I don't know because it will take up a lot of time. So
yes,
maybe
that is very true.
maybe we'll do a little bit of a clip and then we'll have some discussion and then maybe another small clip and then we'll have the discussion.
Yes,
We can do
Didi.
like that.
That would be a good idea.
Shall we display it from here?
RP Bhaiya?
So, okay, we'll play it from here. I'll just take, while before the movie comes on, there was a question that somebody had from YouTube, which was linked with what we discussed yesterday. So I thought I can answer that
Yes,
while
Didi.
we are waiting for the movie to play. One is, this YouTube, the question was there by, I believe, I noted it down, just one moment. So there was this question from Faiz Khan. In relationships, how to change negative thoughts to positive. So I thought I would address that because it has something to do with what we discussed yesterday about trust. So first of all, we have to see, why do we have negative thoughts? We are having negative thoughts because we are not able to see the relationship with the person. So now how to start seeing the relationship? So the first thing to do is to be aware of what these thoughts that you're getting are. When you say negative thoughts, you must be aware of those thoughts. So when you're aware of those thoughts, then you see the intention or the natural acceptance of that person. Is it the same as mine? So I want to make the other happy. Does the other also want to make me happy? So that is the intention part. So we can see if the other person has the same intention as mine. And then have trust on the other's intention. That yes, just like my intention is to make the other happy, the other also wants to make me happy. So this changes, the feeling towards the other person and makes me see the relationship. Now, once I have this feeling of relationship, I have this feeling of being related to the person rather than to have a feeling of opposition. Then the thoughts of relationship lead to a change in my behavior accordingly. And then when I behave responsibly with that person, the other person gets assured of me. The other person has trust that I am doing this to make the other person happy. And then we can go about helping the other person. So the whole process may take some time, but it will depend on two things. How much we are aware and how much effort we are putting into this process of exploring within ourselves. So I would say experiment with it and check, is your feeling naturally acceptable to you? does it make you feel comfortable or uncomfortable inside? And you find that those feelings that are in line with your natural acceptance, they lead to your happiness. So that would be the whole way of going about it. So I hope, Faiz, that answers your question. And I think we will move ahead now.
Yes, Didi, it is, we have nearly 800 participants in this session. And
Nice.
yes, it's good. So many of them have watched the movie also. Yes, yes.
चलता हूँ माँ।
खाली लगा दी
नहीं खाना।
अब परोस लिया है ना मैंने।
माँ कहा ना नहीं खाना।
पर
हेलो।
फोन पे 1 मिनट।
1 मिनट माँ। हेलो। हाँ तैयार हो आ रहा हूँ। हाँ बस चल।
देखो सिर्फ 2 मिनट।
कभी तो समझा करो ना प्लीज नहीं खाना मुझे बस करो अभी।
बर्तन धोती की मजाक करती है। अब वो भी मैं धो के दिखाऊं? मुफ्त का पगार लेती है। महीने में 8 दिन छुट्टी करती है वो अलग।
तू उसका पैसा भी तो काट लेती है।
देख तू तो करके बात मत कर।
तू कौन सा मेरे को आप करके बुलाती है?
जबान संभाल के।
साला रोज कट देर से नहीं होगा ये काम।
हाँ काम वालियों की कमी नहीं है।
अरे जाना तो दूसरी ढूंढ ले।
हाँ ढूंढ लूंगी। और सुन वापस भी मत आना और पगार भी भूल जाना।
अरे बाहर नहीं जाए तेरा पगार किसको चाहिए? खूप झाला रे बाबा रोज सकाळ झाली की तेच नाटक 2 पैसे विकत घेऊन टाकले शाळणी कुठली 2 किलो वजन कमी झालं ना तेव्हा कळेल मेली कुठली
Okay, can we have some observations about this little clip that we saw? Whatever anybody thinks about this, we can have their observations. You can raise your hand and we'll take your observations. Any observations on YouTube about this? Pavani or Professor Manjunath is there with unmuted mic. Would you like to say something?
Yes, madam.
Yes.
Is it audible, madam?
Yes, very much audible.
I am Manjunath came from RV ATM Bengaluru. I am assistant professor. So these 2 videos are very informative. And the main theme behind this is if we spread happiness, always it will be spread like anything throughout the day. If we spread arrogance, the same thing will be having impact throughout the day in one or the other way. So that is the actual theme. So what I learned.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we now have some observation from YouTube? Is it possible to see that? Anything on the chat? Pavani?
Hi, ma'am. I'm
Yes,
Pavani.
Yes, please.
According to me, this one is more about positive thinking and effects of thinking positively. How one's emotion portrays and how it leads. Moreover,
about that we showed just now, any observation?
it is about portraying a single emotion and how it affects others around us.
Nice.
It is more like Newton's reaction, Newton's third law. Every action has opposite and equal reaction. You spread good, you get good. You give respect, you get respect.
Okay.
And it
Thank
goes
you.
that way. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. Manisha ji, anything we can see from YouTube? Anything on the chat?
Yes, Didi, I'm trying to locate.
Acha. Okay.
Didi, can I tell you what
Yes,
is?
yes, Minu. Yes,
Yes.
Minu Didi.
Okay, so there is a very good reflection from events 1, 2, 3, who says that when one person gets angry, it gets transferred to others, and many students have responded to that. So it's a very good discussion going on YouTube.
Nice. Nice. Very nice. Yeah. Okay. Good. So I think many people have seen the movie and they're able to see some connection between these things. We can take some other observation by somebody. Miss Mamta, did you want to share?
Yeah, ma'am, what I understood is like whether it is happiness or sadness or any anger, it reflects like what people see, they follow that. Sometimes. Yeah, and it reflects, yeah.
Okay. Asik, you want to say something? Asik, you can unmute the mic and speak. Debanjan Pal?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, the film is based on the mutual understanding that I could understand from this film, because the son reacted to his mother because of his anger, which he showed to his mother, and the mother also shown the anger to the maid. So this continues a chain of anger and misunderstanding between them. So this ponders over the imponderables that is showing the meaning of the lives and karma. I think that will that is changing the shape of our personal ethics. So that's why it's a chain of misunderstandings going on in this film that I understood.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other responses on YouTube that we can hear?
Yes, Minu Didi. Minu Didi is on YouTube, so we can directly. Yes, Minu Didi.
Okay.
Didi, one response is that there was a problem due to lack of right understanding. If you break the propagation of anger, then it might help countless people.
Didi.
Nice.
1 minute of anger makes the whole day useless. Try to break the propagation of anger.
Didi, on YouTube, there's a very good reflection by Crazy
One student.
Yes,
Hacks
yes.
is telling us that in the video, one person itself changed the whole situation by being angry with mom and being good to brother.
True. Very true.
Dr. Denny Moll has written, our feelings will be radiated to others. Saina Francis is telling, also if we try to break the propagation of anger, it will help countless people.
Nice.
One person's.
Yes.
Yes, Didi, if there's a faculty participant. Yes, ma'am. Miss Kanamani, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Hello?
Yes, please go ahead. We can hear you.
Suppose one person is reflected to other person, ma'am. One person is angry means other persons also angers in the whole day.
True. True.
Does it happen to you?
One person is happy means another person's all of them happy in all the days.
Nice. Yes. Thank you.
People are calling it a chain reaction. It's a chain reaction kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd like to ask some of the students, what happened in the first scene that we saw. This boy, the mother is coming with the plate of, and the boy got upset and left. Does that happen with us sometimes?
Yeah, ma'am. Definitely happen, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, Didi, probably I'll lower the hands and I'll just ask the participants to raise their hands. Okay. So does it really happen with us sometime?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
It's ticking by. So yes, everybody is saying yes, it happens.
No, ma'am, it doesn't.
What about YouTube?
Ma'am, I want to know one thing. Ma'am, the film is related to the basic law of cause and effect, that is karma. As we sow and reap intuitively, that the karma seems to be the basic law of operating all our actions. So is it that one that reflecting our this?
Yeah, we'll explore it a little bit and then we'll have a discussion after some time about this.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Didi, from
Thank you.
YouTube, the participants are very happy that their names were taken. So they are responding, saying thank you. And Sumanta Kumar Raut says, is anyone in
Hello, ma'am.
YouTube chat?
Just one.
Yes, we are.
Hello, ma'am.
Just one moment. I couldn't hear.
There is
Just a
another
minute.
response
Hello,
saying
ma'am.
that the anger of mother was due to her affection
Hello,
for her
ma'am.
son.
Just one moment. Just one at a time. If we hear, then we can hear everybody.
Hello,
Otherwise,
ma'am.
confusion. I think Meenuji was speaking. Let us go back to Meenuji.
Yes.
Thank you, Didi. Uzma Bano has a very good reflection. Anger is like a chain. It is transferred from one to another. Abhishek is telling anger is the easiest action that spreads throughout others like a chain. So very good reflections here, ma'am.
Nice. Very nice. Now,
Hi, ma'am.
Yes, please go ahead.
It's like an act of bad experience generates a chain of bad experience, and then a chain of good experience generates a chain of good experience. It's like feelings, if it's good or bad, it keeps on transferring one person to another.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you, Milana. Is your name?
Yes, ma'am. Milana.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am.
Should we play something a little more from the movie, maybe?
Yes, Didi.
Yeah. Yeah. For any of the students who have not seen the movie, you can go back and see, because there will be little limitation of time. So we'll just be playing a few clips from here. This thing is little slow. So meanwhile, would somebody like to share till we can have the movie clip come on? Shiva Priya, would you like to say something?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Ma'am, in this video, I can understand that the mom is upset and angry because his son didn't eat food, and the mom is reflecting that that anger to the maid, and the maid is also reflecting that same anger to his daughter, and also the daughter is upset and she is crying, and that likewise it's just continues. So we can understand that if one person in the life also, in one person is unhappy, or he or she is getting angry, it can change the other's mood also. The other's mood also getting change, or the same emotion is reflecting to other also. So better to be positive and be happy in all the time, so we can make others also happy.
Nice.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Then we have Harshavardhan. Would you like to say something about the movie? Anusha?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Anusha.
Ma'am, apart from the fact that there's a chain reaction going on, it also shows that your good deeds and your bad deeds, like no matter what you do, it will always hit back. Like if because he was bad, he got hit by the car, and because he was good, he got saved by the other person. So it shows that you cannot escape what you've done. Hello?
Okay. Okay. Thank you. What you, Harshvardhan, you wanted to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
Now we can't hear you actually. Your voice is gone.
Didi, in the meanwhile,
Yeah.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Alina Anthony has on the
Ma'am.
has a very good reflection. Alina is telling us the boy becomes the reason for his mother, and it reflects to other persons, and finally the boy gets trouble, but the boy's happy reaction to his brother transfers to others and saves the boy.
Okay.
Suman Haldar has written lack of understanding between the family, which results in anger, then spreads to everybody from one person and leads to quarrel.
Okay, nice.
Ma'am,
Very
that
nice.
person have been reflected negatively to his mother. So that causes his mother also the negative to his mother. But if we react in a positive manner by saying don't want in a good manner, his mother would be happy and there would be no problem for his mother angriness.
Nice. Nice. We are having some technical issues with running the movie.
Muhammad Abu Tala.
It's nice that a lot of people have.
Shamila Didi, your voice is lagging a little maybe.
Oh, now?
Now it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Didi, we have Thannamai Bhaskar. If you are angry, you pass anger. If you are happy, you pass happiness.
Nice. Nice.
Didi, we have Professor Jaya Lakshmi.
So,
Jaya Lakshmi ma'am, would you like to share something?
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. Good morning, everybody. What I felt is like, doubt on intention and competence of each other. This is creating painful situation, which there is no right understanding and right feeling as well. This is like a relay in anger in one word, what I could understand.
nice. Very nice.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
One student says it is even dangerous than corona.
Very true.
Such a good, such a contemporary reflection, Bhaiya.
Certainly, yes.
So now, one more question will be, is it possible to break this chain?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
So, okay. How would you break the chain, Manas?
Spreading happiness would be, the only solution that can break this particular change going on of anger, or maybe something doing the deeds which makes others happy will, definitely come back to you as happiness. The circle or the circle of life, or we can say karma.
Nice.
I would like to add here. So basically, it is Newton's third law of motion, but unfortunately, the intensities are not same. I mean, maybe the intensity at which the son told his mother no is not the intensity at which the mother told the maid whether she's washing the dishes properly. And one more thing is that the chain can be broken when you decide to stop it. I mean, if the mother had decided, that she will have a conversation with her son once he is back, it would have been broken then and there. But she reflected her anger on the maid, and unfortunately, the maid is also angry and would go on and yell at her daughter later.
Nice. So now, how would we relate this to Newton's law? Because now we are saying that we are able to break this chain.
Yes, you can break the chain by taking the decision of stopping it here. I mean, if you are upset, okay, keep it within you, and you can probably journal about it, and not spread your anger or frustration or stress to the people around you and the environment around you, and having the whole environment around you, in a whole negative spiral.
Nice, nice. So what we're saying is that when we're talking of Newton's law, we are relating it to the material world. But when we are talking of our feelings, the feelings are in the consciousness, in the self. So Newton's law, it applies to the material world, but it need not apply to the consciousness world because we can change our feelings. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Nice. Thank you.
Didi Dipti Bangera from YouTube has given a very nice solution. She's telling never speak harshly when you are angry because you have lot of ways to change your mood. But the words that you speak once will keep on pricking you.
Nice. Very nice. Thank you.
Ma'am?
Yes, Navani?
Yes, ma'am. From this clipping, I understood that due to lack of right understanding and right feeling, people are getting angry. Like from the first, when I saw the mother was upset with her son when he didn't had food. That anger she showed to the maid, and maid showed that to her daughter, and the daughter shared it. It showed like that. So what I understood is that when we are in an angry mood, never speak or never talk with anyone, so that others won't get sad or unhappy.
Nice. But one thing we can also see, when we are not talking outside, are we still talking inside? Meaning,
Yes, ma'am.
are the thoughts going on inside? Otherwise, we may not make the other person unhappy, but we may be making ourselves unhappy also.
Ma'am, it eventually leads to unhappiness of the other persons which are connected to us. Like, who would not want us to be unhappy.
I think Naomi was speaking.
And also the
Yes.
mother is very possessive, and from that I understood that every mothers are possessive, and even if their children grow up, they consider them as small.
True.
That is
true. Nice.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you're audible.
I am Suraj from Panipat Institute of Engineering Technology, ma'am. I watched in this video. According to Newton's third law, every action is the same reaction. First of all, I watched the boy react anger on his mother, and the mother react anger on his daughter. That all characters say react angers. So we always we always happy.
Yeah. So this is what we were just mentioning, that, is it possible to change our feeling? If somebody shouts at us, do we need to shout back at somebody else, or is it possible to change our feeling and not shout at the other person?
Yes, ma'am. And my perspective is same as the previous one, that every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. So if it is possible to change our feeling, how will you explain it with Newton's third law?
Ma'am, can I answer?
Yes, please.
I'm Priya. I'm mother as a faculty. I was thinking, okay, children that age, they might be in a lot of tension. That boy might be in tension. That is why he must have reacted and he didn't eat the food. It's okay one day if our child doesn't eat, but we should understand. We should leave there itself. Then our anger will not transfer to the other people in the house. That's okay. One day he take the food. He might be having a lot of work, or he might be tense something. We have to consider that and leave it. Then we will not get angry with the other people.
One
Yes.
important thing to note here.
The mutual understanding also take place in this.
Yeah, just one moment. Kumar Bhaiya is saying something.
Yeah, Didi, I think one important thing to reflect could be looking at the intention on either part. Intention of the son and intention of the mother. What is that? And when we are looking at the video, then we could have one kind of reflection. And if you are one of the characters there, either your mother or a child, then what would be your opinion about the intention of the other? That is something where we have to reflect.
Yes. Nice. So can we have some observations about that? So if you were the boy there, what would you feel about the mother who brought the food? What would you think about her intention? Did she intend to bother you, make you unhappy?
No, ma'am.
The intention wasn't wrong, but the situation, I guess, that wasn't according to the boy that he was thinking. He might be in a hurry to do something, so that might have led him to think oppositely.
Yeah, and similarly for the mother, for the mother, when the boy said no, then did she think that he intended to make her unhappy?
That still depends upon the
no?
situation and the mutual understanding between both of them, I would say. If they are clear, if they have clarity in their minds, it's okay that none of them would think bad about any one of them, the other person. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any more observations from YouTube, Meenuji?
Didi. Didi Smriti Srinivas is telling she did not, that means the mother did not intend to make the boy unhappy. Venkatesh N is telling children may forget what you teach, but they will never forget how you made them feel. I think it's a very nice reflection.
Nice, nice, very nice.
Tanmal Bhaskar is telling silence is the best thing while you are angry. Bhavani is telling silence is the best thing. And Smriti is telling the boy's intention was not wrong also.
Yeah. So when we saying silence, we'll just add that silence not just outside, not that we are not just speaking outside, but silence and harmony inside also. That we are not going on getting irritated inside. Both, I think, we can think
Ma'am,
about.
sometimes letting go of the situation can also be helpful for them. Letting go is also a best possible way to keep your anger aside.
Hello, ma'am. Can I
Yeah.
speak?
So just one moment. So what we are saying is, one can be to let go.
Yes,
so not get disturbed about it. Another can be to have this feeling of relatedness, and then feel, when we feel related, then we can see that they are in discomfort, and then we can try to help them come out of their discomfort. So go a step further to help them also. Nice. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
Somebody was
Can I
saying
speak?
that. Yes, please.
Hello, ma'am.
Shayanti.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Myself, Shanti from JS College. Ma'am, here one thing I can relate from last few days seminar and this video. Ma'am, actually the anger and showing the anger is temporary, and it is being related like it's harming our body, but not ourselves. We are showing our anger from our body, but not from our soul.
Kanna? What did you mean by that? I didn't understand quite.
Actually, ma'am, what we have learned these days, human being is it's coexistence of body and self, and our bodily needs, these are temporary, not permanent. And I feel anger is our bodily need. It's not permanent, it's temporary. And whatever we do in anger, we just regret it in the next moment.
Yeah, so we have to come back to this. Where are the feelings? Are the feelings in the body that we have to explore?
And if we can distinguish it, it is my bodily need, and it is not it is not permanent, and this is my self need, my need of my soul, and this is permanent, then I think we can control our anger, and it won't continue like a chill.
No, so where is the feeling of anger? In the self or the body?
Ma'am, I feel it's in the body because it is not permanent. Whatever is in the self, it's permanent.
Yeah, so what we are saying is that the feeling of anger is, this, all the feelings are in the self. And when it is a feeling that is naturally acceptable to me, I am in harmony, I am comfortable inside. When it is a feeling that is not naturally acceptable to me, then I have unhappiness. And what we are saying is that when we don't have this feeling of being related,
yes,
when we don't have the feeling of relationship, then we have
yes,
this feeling of opposition.
yes, ma'am.
Reflects
But anger, like it's anger is more like a reflective action, like a reflex action. It's less of it. It's, I mean, more than a feeling, it's a reflex action.
Yeah, it's a, I would say it's a reaction.
Yes,
And
ma'am. This reaction
when
only,
we
like
don't have the feeling
unintentional
of
reaction.
Yes, I mean, a specific trigger or stimuli triggers the feeling of frustration or anger in you. So I guess it's related to both the self and the body. So it's the self that feels angry, and it is reflected through the body in the form of a harsh voice, fast breath, an adrenaline rush, and stuff like that.
Yes, yes, sir. But in that moment, if we can, I mean, distinguish like which is permanent, what I need, and which is temporary need, then I think we can control our anger at the moment itself.
Hold on, let us go into discussion, I think, because there is, it's getting a little difficult to see that. So just one moment, we'll try to change the slide and come to the discussion.
അത് മാവ് പഴയതാവുമ്പം ഞാൻ ഇന്നലെ ഗിരിജടുത്ത് പറഞ്ഞു. അപ്പൊ ഗിരിജ പറഞ്ഞു കുഴപ്പമില്ല. അല്ല,
Mic on. Can you just, yeah. So here you're able to see this slide, right?
Yes.
So we are talking about response versus reaction. So what we are saying is, when we are able to, decide our feeling, when we are able to have this understanding that the other person has the same intention as me. So just like how I want to make the other happy, the other also wants to make me happy. So when I don't doubt the other person's intention, then I have this feeling of being related to the other. I have the feeling of affection for the other. And I can choose to decide that feeling on my own. And when I have this feeling, then I respond, then I don't react. Like in the movie, if you think about it, when the mother brings the breakfast to this boy, and the boy says he doesn't want. Now, when he's leaving home, his younger brother comes running and shows him the painting. So even though he might have been upset that his mother was trying to force him to eat, he responds properly to his brother, right? So he says, yes, it's very nice, and those things to the brother. So he responded. And then if you go further down in the movie also, in the maybe close to the last scene, if you remember, so there was this injured boy on the road, and the boy who was the doctor, he was in the car and he was going to meet the girl that he was going to marry. He was supposed to meet her in 10 minutes. But when he saw this thing, this boy lying on the road, then he, based on understanding, he decided to do the right thing, and he picked up and took this boy to the hospital. So he responded to the situation, didn't get caught up in his emotions and flow. So what we are saying is, you can decide your feeling and then you can respond to the situation. You need not react. But when you are deciding your feeling based on the behavior of the other person, then you are reacting. So so many examples we saw. First, we saw all these examples where one person's bad mood led to a chain of so many people having a bad mood, because we are reacting and we are relaying that emotion to the next person also, the negative emotion. So similarly, on the other side, when we saw, one is to respond, but another is to react to even positive feelings. So it's still it's like a reaction. So when this boy who
Ma'am, please can you
his
repeat,
brother,
ma'am?
yeah. So what I'm saying is that reaction is when we decide our feeling based on the behavior of the other person. So if the other person gets angry with me, I get angry. If the other person is happy with me, I get happy. If the other person says something in excitement, I also get excited. So that would be a reaction, is what we are saying. So initially we saw a whole series of negative reactions. Then we saw a whole series of positive reactions. In between, there were only a couple of places where I could really see a response in the person's, response to the situation or the person. But if you say, like I was giving this example, that younger brother whose elder brother said that he had made a nice painting. Now, when this boy went and told that girl, Chan, that I love you, she got very excited. And she ran in and started, dancing with her father and saying, "You're the best father," and all that. So this would be a reaction, isn't it? That her feeling is being decided by the behavior of the other person. And then she's relaying the same feeling to the next person. So we can think about it, we can explore about it if you feel that, and this is where the Newton's law would not hold. This is where we can change our feeling, because our feelings are in the self, they are in the consciousness part. And Newton's law is something that applies to the material world. We haven't really talked in the Newton's law anything about the consciousness. So in the consciousness part, we can actually change our feeling, is what we are saying. But it'll be good if we can all explore this and experiment with it. And the next time that somebody gets upset or angry with us, or reacts to something, first of all, we can see what is the intention. Does the person intend to make me unhappy? And if I can see that my intention is to make the other person happy, the other's intention is also like mine. And when I can see this intention, that the other person's intention is right, then I can also see that when does one get upset and angry, when they are comfortable or they are uncomfortable. And I can see that they are uncomfortable, that's when they shout. So now if I can see that they are uncomfortable, and I am sort of in harmony within myself, I am not disturbed, then what will I try to do? I will try to help the other person. So now there is no question of reacting. Now there is no question of shouting back, because that's not going to help, isn't it? The other person is already unhappy. How is he going to give you happiness? He can only give what he has. So if he is happy, he will spread happiness. If he is unhappy, he will spread unhappiness. But I need not get disturbed by it. And I can actually see that when I'm comfortable, then I can actually help the other person. So I hope this is making sense. Can we have some responses from YouTube? Anything? Is this discussion making sense?
Yes, Didi. In fact, some very mature reflections are coming on YouTube. For
Nice.
example, Nived has written, "Anger is not a solution for any problem." Kavi Pavi says that this clearly differentiates between response and reaction.
Nice.
So very, very mature reflections are coming from students on YouTube.
Nice, nice. So now we can see this. What is naturally acceptable to me in my behavior? Reaction or response? And what do I generally do in my behavior with my family members? Do I generally react or generally respond? So first one, A or B, and second one, A or B. And it's not just about giving the answers. We have to reflect and we have to see in our behavior what we are doing and whether we can make it better. Because we all want harmony in our family, right? We all said that we want to have a good relationship. We want to have a fulfilling relationship with our family. So then with our family members, how is our behavior? That we have to keep a check on. And we can base this on what is naturally acceptable to us. Right? Nice. So we are getting lots of responses. So somebody mentioned a response, must have written some other response, and then it said, sorry, 1A, 1B, and 2A. So nice. It's good that we are sincerely looking at this and reflecting. This is what self-exploration is all about. This is what becoming aware of our feelings and thoughts is about. And once we start paying attention to it, then we are actually able to change it for the better. But because we are paying so much attention to the outside and we are not paying enough attention inside, that's why the problem is happening. Here you can see the discussion about what we mentioned yesterday. When you have a doubt on intention or when you have a trust on intention, how do you go about things? So when you have trust on intention, you will respond to the situation. But when you have doubt on intention, then you are looking at your intention, but you are looking at the other person's ability. And you are thinking that the ability is the intention part. And then you say the other person doesn't want to make me happy. And that's when you react, because you don't see that relationship. You're seeing, you are having opposition.
Kanna,
So,
phone undi. Alla.
Yeah, anything else on YouTube, Meenuji?
We are discussing over and over again about the film and the anger and how we have the ability to control ourselves and how it is related with Newton's law. And if the boy had shown goodness to his mother instead of his brother, the chain would never have even started, according to Ganga.
Okay, all right, nice. Okay, so I think we looked at this in some detail. Maybe we can go back to that reaction response chart. So that we can do it in a some more. Yeah, I'm not able to see it here. Everybody can see this, right? So when you are seeing the other person's behavior, you have to keep this, keep track of this thing, that the other person's behavior reflects only what is the state of the other person. We don't have to take it personally. What happens is, if somebody shouts at us, we take it personally and we start going into pain. And then we get upset and we get irritated and we shout back. But when the other person is shouting, let us be aware that just like how I become uncomfortable and then I react, like when do I shout at other people? When I'm happy inside or unhappy inside? So everybody can respond to this. When do we shout at other people? When we are happy or unhappy? So I'm getting a lot of responses of unhappy. And I guess, is it the same on YouTube? Yes. 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 So we can see that we shout at others whenever we are unhappy. So similarly, if somebody is shouting at us or if somebody is behaving irresponsibly with us, then it is because they themselves are unhappy. So now if there is an unhappy person who is disturbed, are we going to shout at them, or are we going to try to help them become more calm, becoming more comfortable, try to make them happy? So when we are able to see this, then there is no reaction. Then we respond. So you can decide your own behavior. You can be self-organized. But if we are just reacting to the other person, then the remote control is with the other person. The other person is deciding what kind of feeling I should have. And then I feel helpless. Then I feel that I'm enslaved, I'm dependent. Because then we keep finding fault and say the other person made me angry. So if we can see that nobody can make us angry, we create that anger within ourselves. We have the capacity to decide our feeling, and we can respond to the situation. So,
Didi?
Yes, Minuji.
Didi, Shiv EV has got a very nice reflection. Just
Yeah.
now about what you said. So Shiv EV is telling maybe it would have helped if they all asked one another what happened and what had stressed them.
Nice, very nice. True. Nice. So now I think it will be clear that Newton's law doesn't have to hold for consciousness. So we are able to see that we can change our feeling. So are we able to see that the Newton's law need not necessarily, it doesn't apply to us so far as the consciousness is concerned, that we can change the feeling and we can respond to any person and situation?
Didi, there is a question from Fresh B. Fresh B wants to know, is there a difference between unhappy and upset?
Yeah. So whenever I am unhappy, whenever I am not in harmony within myself, that is unhappiness. And when I am unhappy, when I don't have this harmony inside, I don't see my relationship with other human beings. And when I don't see my relationship with other human beings, then I can get upset, I can get angry, I can have all these feelings, all these negative emotions inside me. So I hope that answers the question.
Ji Didi.
Ji, nice. So here, what we saw earlier, the reaction and response. Now, as long as we have this doubt on intention, we are reacting. But once we start self-exploration, once we start looking at our, what is going on inside, once we are able to see that the other's intention is like mine, then with all these proposals that we are putting forward, we can try to experiment with these proposals and see, is it possible to respond to the situation? So we can see that if we have trust on intention, then we can respond to the situation. We need not be enslaved to the other person's emotion. We need not be enslaved. If the other person shouts, then I don't have to shout back. So if I'm able to see this with the exploration, it might take little time. Initially, it might seem like you shouted, and then afterwards you remembered that you were supposed to see the intention. But in no time at all, you would be able to see that you can actually change this feeling inside, and you will feel a lot more happy inside. So this is something that you can experiment with and see within 1 or 2 days. So experiment with it. with all your close friends, with your family members, and see if it creates more happiness for you in your relationships. Yes? So is everybody going to experiment with this?
Didi, there is a reflection from Raghav Kamath on what you just said. Ma'am, I think reactions are impulses which are done without putting much thought, based on feelings, whereas response is analyzed, thoughtful decision which comes with proper reasoning.
Nice. So I think, when we are able to see that our feeling is important, and it is important to see what is naturally acceptable to us and what is not naturally acceptable to us. So when we do all this exploration, if we react or if anything happens like this, we can check our feeling inside. And if our feeling is naturally acceptable to us, then we'll be able to see that relatedness. And whenever we are reacting, we'll be able to see that this was a feeling that was not naturally acceptable to us and it made us unhappy. And then we'll be able to see that we can actually change this feeling. Okay. So I hope everybody is going to experiment with this. Okay, now we can take some.
Ma'am, lot of yes from YouTube. So very reassuring.
Nice.
Maybe we can take up some questions, Didi, from those who have raised hands here. Yes. I'm lowering all the hands once again. So those who would like to respond to this part of the question can raise their hands. Ashutosh is there.
Yes. Ashutosh, you can unmute the mic and speak.
Varshini is there.
Shri Varshini, you can unmute if you want to say something. Mr. Payadi Venkat.
Didi, Shri Lakshmi has unmuted. Yes, Shri Lakshmi. Well, she's muted again. Atul?
Atul?
Hello.
Yes,
hello, ma'am.
go
Ma'am,
ahead.
this is Manas.
What will do if some
One moment.
Manas, let Atul speak first.
Sure, ma'am.
Yes, Atul, please go ahead.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, please go ahead.
Man, what we will do if someone make us angry?
Yeah, so this is what we are saying. Did you watch this movie that we were
Yes,
talking
ma'am.
about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so if somebody shouts at us, are we forced to become angry or can we change that feeling that we have? That is the question.
Ma'am, you told us to
What do we
try something. Please, can you say what did you tell, ma'am?
Yeah, okay. So I'll just go over this again, that, when we doubt the other person's intention, meaning now if somebody shouts at us, now I can, one is that I can just shout back. So that is a reaction that we are just, whatever the other person is doing, we are doing the same thing. And we think that the other person has made us angry. But there is another way we can do this. What we can do is, if we have this understanding, if we can see that just like my intention is not to make the other person unhappy, others' intention is also not to make me unhappy. So then I don't need to react to the situation. What I can do is, when I see that I have this trust on the other person's intention, that the other doesn't want to make me unhappy, then I see the relationship between me and the other person. Now I have a feeling of affection. This you have to experiment with to see how real it is. Because right now it may sound like just words, but do experiment with this in your relationships, whenever these situations come up, and you will see how real it is, that you can change that feeling Once you see the other person's intention, you will no longer have irritation or anger, because you can see they didn't mean to make you unhappy. That's not what they wanted to do. But right now, they are not in a position to be nice to you because they themselves are so unhappy. So when you see that, then you don't have a feeling of irritation for them. You don't have anger. Now you have changed your feeling to one of relationship, and now you start thinking about how to help them instead of getting angry. So it's not that the other person makes us angry. We are free to choose whether to be angry or not to be angry. So when we don't have this right understanding, we just react. Whatever the other person does, we do the same thing. We don't take an independent decision. But when we have the right understanding, then we can choose to have the right feeling. So I hope that clarifies.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. Can I speak now?
Yes.
Didi, on YouTube, participants are asking about anxiety.
Yeah. Just one moment. Let us take Manas's question since he started.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you mentioned that we can control our feelings. But ma'am, how do we control our feelings? We can only control our actions based on what others give us. Like for example, if we dislike somebody, so ma'am, they must have definitely given us some reason to generate or to develop that feeling within us of of feeling of disliking them. So that was indirectly from that person only. No? How did we develop that feeling, or how did we generate?
Yeah. So if when we are talking about disliking somebody and we are saying that the other person made us dislike them, so certainly, similarly, we also must have done certain actions, certain behaviors with other persons, and they might be disliking us. So now we will keep spreading this, can somebody break that? Is it possible to have the right feeling towards the other person? Is what the question is. So do you think it is possible or not possible?
Yeah,
What
it
do
is
you feel?
possible. It is possible.
It is possible. And why should I do it? Because this is what makes me comfortable inside. You try it and see, do you feel better after doing this and
Yeah, definitely. I
changing
will.
your feeling to one direction? Yeah,
Yeah,
so
ma'am,
then
I will
that
feel
is,
better.
isn't that, yeah. So that's what we are saying,
Thank you
that
so much,
we
ma'am.
need not, yeah. So we need not be forced to dislike somebody just because we don't like some action of theirs or because they behaved badly with us. We can change that feeling, and the best, the most benefit we are going to get ourselves, because when somebody shouts at us, sometimes we think for days about it. Does it happen? Sometimes we keep thinking for days that
Yeah,
this
it does
person
happen,
said
ma'am.
this to me, why did they say, and all that. So we
Yeah.
keep feeling unhappy for so many days about it. The moment
Yes.
we change our feeling, from that moment on, we have broken this thing, this suffering that we are having with all this unhappiness because somebody said something. And it's important to see that we are creating this unhappiness for ourselves.
Yes, ma'am.
So we can change it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome. Meenuji, what was that question from YouTube?
Didi, they are asking the difference between anger and anxiety.
Yeah. So when I don't see my relationship with somebody, with another human being, then I don't have this feeling of relationship. I have a feeling of opposition. And that's what leads to this anger in me. And sometimes it can be so severe, and sometimes anger is even referred to as temporary insanity, because we do all kinds of behaviors that we really don't want to. So it's almost as if we've gone mad for that much time. We don't know what we are doing. Anxiety may also have to do with not rightly evaluating ourselves and the situation. So if I don't understand the situation, or if I don't understand my competence properly, if I don't evaluate what my competence is, and supposing I have to do a certain task by 10 o'clock tonight, but I really don't know much about it. But I tell myself, okay, I'll do it, no problem. Now, I have not rightly evaluated my competence because I really don't know anything about it. And there is not that much time. Say it's 2 hours left for 10 o'clock. And I say, I will do it. But I didn't really prepare for it. I don't know much about it. I have not rightly evaluated my competence. Now, when it's coming close to 10, now I start panicking because I don't know how I'm going to manage. So that will lead to a lot of anxiety. But if I am able to rightly evaluate my competence, then I can plan and I can work on it. I can prepare properly and then decide on what time I need to do it. So if some project is there for a certain time, I can start planning well in advance. We can see that my competence is not that much. I need to build my competence. So I hope that answers it. And I think time is also up, isn't it? Hello, am I audible?
Didi, you are audible, and we are there towards the end of the session only. Maybe right now we'll hold the questions, especially these questions related to the content. You just take this 10-minute break and we'll resume from 12. So in between, if there are some queries, I'll be taking up those queries, Didi.
Yeah, I'll just mention to the students about the self-reflection that in all their interactions, you have to see percentage of time that you are responding and the percentage of time that you are reacting. And what is effort required to progress from reaction to response. So we discussed it today. Now you have to experiment with it and think about it. So that's the homework today, reflection. Thank you, everybody.
So we all have to see this reaction and response within us and all what effort we are taking towards it.
Yeah, Didi, I think we have to read the assignment also. Which is
assignment. I'll explain the assignment, Didi.
Okay.
Till you just take this 10 minutes break. I'll explain the assignment.
Thanks.
So for our participants, this is the assignment for the day. And the assignment is that you have to note your behavior throughout the day, at the home, in the workplace, wherever you are working, if it is for faculty members and all, and your college or your surroundings. List how many times you responded in your behavior and how many times you reacted. And you have to just calculate the percentage of reaction and response in your behavior. And you have to note it down for yourself. That is something which will let you know the difference and how many times we are reacting and responding. The next one is list any 5 to 10 choices you made in the past week and find out what is the percentage of your choices. What percentage is motivated by preconditioning, motivated by sensations, and is on the basis of self-verification, which is based on our own natural existence, so that we can make out which category our choices depend. And we can find out the percentage also. Note any 2 situations where you reacted. Now explore to see what would have been your response in the 2 situations, everything else remaining the same. So it's for you all to reflect on these questions. These are some of the assignments meant for our participants. And of course, our participants can go for this 10 minutes quick bio break so that we can resume our session from 12 onwards. And of course, we can see that our participants are really eager to participate. In between, I'll just lower the hands once, and then I'll take up any kind of queries and all related to whatever you want to ask. So just give me a moment so that I can lower all the hands. And then if there are some participants who want to raise their hands, we will provide mic to them. So Lekha Mehta, you have the mic beta with you. You can put up your query. Lekha Mehta,
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, beta. We can hear you, beta.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, beta.
It is always said that we should never react or not to anger to anyone. But, ma'am, it is natural that whenever we get irritated or frustrated, we basically do anger rather than clarifying ourselves.
Very true, beta. Whatever you are saying is your current status. So we tend to react, but the only thing is what is naturally acceptable to us. When are we more comfortable? Let's sit and explore for ourselves. When are we more comfortable? When we
We are
react
actually more
or when we
comfortable
respond?
when we
That's what
respond,
we have
because
to.
after reacting, we usually feel guilty.
Yeah. So you have to see it for yourself. You have to verify within yourself, right? This is something which is our own assignment.
Yes,
Is it okay with
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, beta. We have to see for ourselves,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Thank you.
When are we reacting? When are we responding? Professor Vijayshri Belgaonkar ji, you have some query, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm Vijayshri Belgaonkar, faculty
Yes, ma'am.
from Sir MVIT, Bangalore. I just wanted to tell, I don't have any queries, but whatever the sessions you have been conducting, those are really very good in today's life. And the whatever the movie has been told about the response and reaction, really it is helpful for our life. See, sometimes what will happen, people they take a lot of tension, stress, and they react, and that will reflect in their work also. Just I'll give you example. If you're not happy at home, the same thing will be reflected in the work also. So continuously that negativity will be there. We will consider that anger, and we will not be able to do 100% in whatever the work we will do. Either it can be at home or the work. So if we follow all these principles in day-to-day life, everyone, including the students and parents and everybody, throughout India, so we can become very much happy with this, whatever the sessions have been going on. And one more thing I want to tell, that in the health sessions, it's been told that we should have around 6 o'clock. So I have tried to change my husband, showing all this positivity from this activity, because I have been eating by 6 o'clock since years, since childhood. But as my husband is a software engineer, but when I told all these things, so he started eating by 6:30. So that is a positive change, what I could see in him. And definitely what all things have been going on, as I'm yoga and meditation in charge in our college, definitely all these positive things and all these sessions I will transfer to my students, so they can be happy in the personal as well as professional life. So I'm very much thankful to you and your team and AICTE for all these wonderful sessions. Thank you, ma'am.
Very nice sharing, ma'am. We could see for these proposals and we could explore and verify it in our own right. That is something which is our achievement. So definitely very nice sharing, ma'am. And we look forward to your further joining UHV sessions and enhancing your own understanding. Nice, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Didi, can I ask a question from YouTube?
Ji. Go ahead. Go ahead, Meenu ma'am. Go ahead.
Didi, Sulekha Saji Kumar is asking about difference between depression and frustration. And the same question is also asked by another student, Tirita Immi. Depression leads to
So
frustration.
Meenu ma'am, for our YouTube participants, we will soon be dealing with this session, the upcoming session on respect, and we'll be going into details of depression. So some of the questions, will be answered during that discussion. And then we can again take up this question once this discussion is there. So it is our upcoming discussion. So maybe then our participants from YouTube will be getting their answers.
Thank you, Didi.
Welcome. Yash Katara ji?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, beta. Go ahead, बच्चे.
मैम एक्चुअली मैं कुछ दिनों से मतलब दो दिन पहले से क्लास ज्वाइन नहीं कर पाया था, क्योंकि खेतों में काम चल रहा है, हम थोड़े रूरल एरिया पढ़ते हैं, तो उसके लिए थोड़ा सॉल्यूशन बताइए कि ये सर्टिफिकेट
Because
में
these recorded lectures are available on YouTube, so you can go through these lectures and you can clear your doubts with the concepts what are explained, with the proposals which were given. So that is one possibility. In fact, they are available in Hindi also. So if you are more comfortable with Hindi, you can go through the Hindi sessions of universal human values. ठीक है बेटा, आप बात समझ पाए?
यस मैम.
तो आप हिंदी वाले सेशंस में भी जा सकते हैं. इनफैक्ट पैरेलली हिंदी का सेशन चल रहा है, तो आप चाहें तो यूट्यूब पे हिंदी वाला सेशन भी ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं. और अगर आपने ऑप्शन में इंग्लिश भरा था तो आपको इंग्लिश का ही लिंक मिलेगा.
यस मैम, ऑप्शन में इंग्लिश ही भरा.
आपने ऑप्शन में इंग्लिश भरा था?
यस मैम.
जी, इसीलिए आपके पास इंग्लिश का लिंक आ रहा है. बट स्टिल देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी, इंस्टेड ऑफ Zoom you can directly join on YouTube for Hindi session also. UHV sessions are running parallelly in English as well as in Hindi. So whichever language you feel more comfortable with, you can easily join that session. If you don't have the YouTube link, you can join on if you don't have the Zoom link, you can join on the YouTube link. For our Zoom participants, if they have the Zoom link with them, they, instead of joining on YouTube, we would welcome them to join on Zoom, where they can participate more actively. Even though we do try to take questions from Zoom, but from YouTube, but on Zoom it is possible to take direct questions, right?
Yes,
so for all our participants, we can.
Ma'am?
Ji beta, go ahead, bache.
Ma'am, I have a small doubt, ma'am.
Yes,
Well, we just heard the difference between reacting and responding, right? So when we know that the other person is angry because of some other issue at some other spot, how can we let them know that they're not angry at us and rather they're angry at some other issue?
Right. So when we are dealing with the other, first we have to look for ourselves, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So if somebody is getting angry with me for some
Yes,
or the other reason, maybe I may not be at fault, right? If I am able to ensure harmony within me,
yes, ma'am.
then I am able to put forth that point to the other in a much better way.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? But if I also start reacting, then it becomes a bigger issue. So
Yes,
the first thing is that I should understand myself.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Instead of, we do understand that the other is getting hyper over something, maybe I am not at fault. But if I have this harmony ensured within me, then I am able to put forth my own point in a much better way. And then I do not enhance the whole issue. I try to look for solution, and I try to help the other. I try to complement the other. And of course, as we move ahead with our discussion in the further session, you will get more understanding to this.
Yes,
Fine,
ma'am.
Bache? Yes,
Thank you,
we'll
ma'am.
be moving ahead. Welcome, Bache. We'll be moving ahead with the session, and some part of it will become more and more clear. Since we are absolutely there on time, it's 12 o'clock. Maybe it's time for us to start with our session now so that we can proceed with our proposals. So, Didi?
Vanchana Di, Sharna Di, moreover, like the participants and the students, please take a note that at 4:30 we'll again be having Arjun Asthanaji with us, so that you can discuss a lot more about the creative practices. Okay, so this is just a piece of information that I just wanted to let you know, though we have been informing you about the same time and again. Okay, for all those who join in late or who are with us now. Okay, Didi, so we'll proceed with the session now.
Yeah, and in the fourth session, they can share regarding UHV also, they can ask question.
Yes, Didi. So, with respect to that also, you'll be having some of our resource persons also with us, so that you can ask a few more questions regarding universal human values.
Welcome, Sharmila Didi. We can start the session now.
Yeah. So now we are moving on to one more feeling. We talked about respect and reaction response, and now we are moving on to respect. So if we see, we'll just quickly go over. We have already been through a lot of this, but this is what we discussed. We had seen that our natural acceptance or our intention is to be happy and to make the other happy. And the natural acceptance of the other is also to be happy and to make us happy. But both of us may be lacking in competence. So now when we interact with the other, when we make a program with the other, meaning when we interact with the other, then on the basis of what the other person's competence is and what my competence is, then we make this program, this plan for interaction. All the while, but we will keep having trust on the other's natural acceptance or the other's intention. Now, when we talked a little bit, we had discussed that one of the problems or one of the concerns is about peer pressure. And in that we mentioned that we try to get respect from others. We try to dress up like other people. We try to talk like other people. We try to behave like other people, so that we get respect from them. And so this is what peer pressure is about. But does it really, lead to sort of this feeling of respect for us? That is something that we have to look at. Does it really work? So what is the reason? Why doesn't it work? So let us look at, what really respect is. So do you think respect we can define? Can we talk about it? What do you think? Can we define it? Can we discuss it with some definiteness or no? Yes or no? So we are getting more of no's, some yeses. What about YouTube? Minu, are you there?
Didi. Lot of yeses.
What are the responses? Okay, nice.
Some no's also.
Yes, yes.
Actually, it is, there cannot be any right answer. So people are giving their own answers. Yes, 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 yes. No, no, no. Somebody has written a lot of no's. So it's very interesting time on YouTube.
Nice, nice. So let us look if we can define it with some definiteness, or is this something abstract? So we may have thought, that when we wear tight jeans or branded clothes like the other people, then we will get respect. But what is actually happening? Are we comfortable inside? That is one thing we have to see. So in fact, two things I would say. Do we feel comfortable when we are dressing like this? First of all, at the level of the body, are we comfortable? And more importantly, are we feeling comfortable inside when we do all these things? When we try to act like somebody that we are not, and when we try to behave like somebody else, are we feeling comfortable inside? Yes or no? I think we'll put away this anyway. So that is one thing. And then, is it really fetching us respect, or are we getting some temporary attention? Or if we wear some very expensive type of branded things, are we getting jealousy also sometimes from others? So this is something that we can all explore and see. What we are saying is that respect is right evaluation. So whenever we are rightly evaluated, we feel respected. Whenever we are not rightly evaluated, we feel disrespected. So same thing when we say in Hindi, the word for respect in Hindi is samman. And if you break it up, it is sam plus man or samyak mapna or theek theek aankalan karna. Theek theek means right. Aankalan karna means to evaluate. So literally, respect turns out to be right evaluation. So are we rightly evaluating ourselves and others today, or are we not rightly evaluating? What we find is that a lot of times we are not rightly evaluating. Either we over evaluate, or we under evaluate, or we otherwise evaluate. So let us look at what these terms are. So when we talk of over evaluation is to evaluate something for more than what it is. So if you think about it, when you did well, suppose You just finished so many of your exams and so on. So when you did well in your exams, what was it like? Do you feel that, people just said that you did well, or sometimes was it happening that people at home or even in school, sometimes teachers, they sort of raised you on a pedestal and said, oh, you are the most wonderful and you are the best student. And, at home also, uh, parents might have been very proud and said, when guests come, you might have been asked to sort of introduce, you might have been called to introduce to the guest, and people might have said that, he's the best student and he's done so wonderfully, he's the most excellent person in our family, and this and that. And does it happen to sometimes some of you that somebody over evaluates? Yes, nice. We are able to see this, that sometimes there is over evaluation like this. So similarly, we may be over evaluating for others also, like for a friend of ours. So when that friend does whatever we expect him to do, we get all overboard and say, he's a real good friend and he's the best friend I have, and all those things. So we'll also see that sometimes when we are very happy, we over evaluate. So like we just saw in that movie, where that girl, Chand, was told by this person, I love you. And then she went to her father and said, best papa and all. Now you're over evaluating somewhere, isn't it? So those are examples of over evaluation. Similarly, we may also under evaluate. To evaluate something for less than what it is under evaluation. So when you were growing up as a child, when you didn't listen to your parents, sometimes were you under evaluated? Sometimes did the parents say something like, oh, you're good for nothing, you're useless, you can't do even this much? So it might have happened. Sometimes even teachers may have said like that. Yes. Any responses from YouTube regarding this?
अंजी दीदी,
Yes.
बहुत सारे response है. Shri
हाँ.
is writing, respect is for those who deserve and not for those who demand. Deepika is telling she has faced a situation like this. Smriti has also faced a situation like this.
Nice.
And Maria is telling, if I get 99%, then also my mother is always asking, ek mark kam kyo mila?
Yes. Unfortunately, it is like that sometimes. Yes, and we got a lot of yeses here also. So we are all able to see this, that sometimes under evaluation is also going on. Not only for us, but for others also. So when the person doesn't do what we expect, maybe your friend or somebody close to you, then when we are unhappy, we tend to under evaluate the other person. So again, if we go back to that movie, the man who had lost his job, when he talks to that boy, he says to drop him in the car. He tells him, so you are useless, you will never come to anything in life. Something like that he tells him. So this would be an example of under evaluation. Then there could also be otherwise evaluation, to evaluate something for other than what it is. So what is an example of otherwise evaluation? So, when you do something that is really not nice at all, and you disobey, supposing an elder tells you, you have to do this, but you answer back, you are upset, you are angry, and then you just refuse and you say no. Somebody might say, tum to gadhe ho, like you are a donkey. So hopefully we don't have responses like that that say yes, but it may have happened. So that would be an example of an otherwise evaluation. But if you look, more deeply, if we look within ourselves, we will find that a lot of times we are not aware that we are self and body. We think of ourselves only as the body. And this is the commonest example of an otherwise evaluation. So to evaluate something for other than what it is. So I'm not able to see that as a human being, I am a self and a body. And these two are in coexistence with each other. When I'm not able to see this, and when I think that I am only the body, and that is, there is nothing else but the body, and everything that is happening is my feelings and everything. If I think that everything is happening in the body because I'm not aware of the self, this is an example of an otherwise evaluation where I'm not evaluating correctly my situation. So what we are saying is that all of these, over evaluation, under evaluation, otherwise evaluation, these are all forms of disrespect. Because whenever the evaluation is not right evaluation, it is disrespect. So now if I ask you, when you might think that, when we are over evaluated, how is it disrespect? Because we think that we are giving more respect. But anything that is not naturally acceptable, this feeling that is not naturally acceptable, it's not right evaluation, it leads to disrespect. So think about it. When somebody over evaluates you and says you are the best student in the world, does it make you feel comfortable or uncomfortable? Can we have some responses to this question? Do you feel comfortable inside when somebody says you're the best human being, you're the best in the world?
Because so many are saying they make uncomfortable. They feel uncomfortable over this.
Right. Nice.
Didi, Abhinash Mahapatra has written, over-evaluation and under-evaluation, in fact, are a great problem for us. Over-evaluation makes us lose our ability, and under-evaluation makes us feel hopeless.
Nice, very nice.
दीदी बहुत अच्छा रिस्पॉन्स है फ्रॉम कलिया स्वामी विजी. उन्होंने लिखा है, आई डोंट लाइक द टीचर्स हु ऑलवेज प्रेज द टॉपर.
नाइस, वेरी नाइस.
और इवैल्यूएशन हो जाता है ना.
हाँ, nice. Very true. So we can all see that this is something that is not naturally acceptable. It's not naturally acceptable to us when people under-evaluate us, but more importantly, even when they over-evaluate, they think that we might feel good, but actually it is not naturally acceptable and we feel uncomfortable. And this is a type of disrespect. This is what we are also saying. Nice. So now we have to check in all our interactions with other people, whether, whatever our interaction is, whether we are interacting with respect or disrespect. That is, are we doing the right evaluation or are we doing over, under, or otherwise evaluation? So this is something that we have to think about, reflect. You need not answer this immediately, but you have to think about it even after these classes are over, even after the induction program is over. These are things that you have to work on for life, because it is directly linked with my own happiness, directly linked with how comfortable I feel inside, and it impacts everything I do in life. So check for yourself in every interaction whether you have respect or disrespect, whether you are rightly evaluating or you are over, under, or otherwise evaluating.
I
now,
think
what is the
we
problem?
can read some messages from this Zoom chat also, because there are some comments saying that now we are getting ignored.
Okay. Could you read them? I am just.
Okay, Didi. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
So,
say.
Pavitra says over-evaluation always means either they make appreciation out of jealousy or something which they are incapable of. Something like this.
Nice.
Over-evaluation is one of the main reasons for so many suicides due to depression. If somebody is over-evaluated, other gets under-evaluated and then feels depressed.
Nice.
Miss Kartika is saying over-evaluation may lead someone not to explore more of their abilities. They become stuck.
Yeah. So true. Very nice. So we are all able to see this, that this is all not something that is naturally acceptable to us. So now, what's the problem if we don't rightly evaluate? What is the big deal? One is, of course, that it is not naturally acceptable to us. But other than that, we will also see, okay, before we do that, check for yourself, what do you mostly do? Right evaluation, over evaluation, under evaluation, or otherwise evaluation? And what do you do for others? So the first question is about yourself, are you rightly evaluating? And the second question is about others, are you rightly evaluating? Or do you do more of under evaluation, over evaluation and all? So I think here at least we are getting some mixed responses. And maybe Meenu can tell us about the Zoom, what kind of responses we are getting.
Didi, the responses are very much in favor of right evaluation.
Okay.
And Vismay Mohan is telling over evaluation makes one comfortable sometimes, but it reduces our interest to work hard. And under evaluation leads us to depression.
Yeah, true. Nice.
And I want to give one assurance to Vansh Srivastav. Vansh has written over evaluation occurs in Sanskrit class when only one student Manas gets a chance. Vansh beta, if not so, please raise your hand or please put a response on YouTube. You will be always heard.
Thank you. Thank you. Vanchanaji, did you want to read out a few of the responses from Zoom on these
Sure,
questions?
Didi, sure. In fact, there are so many responses that sometimes it becomes difficult. This student Fatima Nasreen is saying why teenagers are getting so much of mood swings and depression. And then another student is saying, can you give some more example of otherwise evaluation? Then we have this Advait Madhavan, who is saying, when I am rightly evaluating others, am I able to rightly evaluate myself also? He's asking.
So we'll look at that now. Thank you, Vanchanaji. So one of the things was, somebody mentioned about, what was it? I already lost what you said. I'm just blanking. What did you just read out about? Two of the things that I wanted to talk about. One is about this, ego and depression. So that is true that we, lot of times we, that is the problem, when we don't rightly evaluate, when we were saying what is the big deal. So the big deal is that it makes us go into mood swings, like somebody mentioned. And taking that question about other examples of otherwise evaluation. So whenever we don't see things as they are, we may be doing otherwise evaluation. So whenever we don't see the reality as it is, we do otherwise evaluation. So any assumption we may have, any belief that we may have, which is not really in line with reality, that becomes an otherwise evaluation. So it's like, if I, the reality is that the earth is round, but if I think that the earth is flat, that is an otherwise evaluation. It's like that. So anything that we don't see the reality the way it is, and we assume something about the reality which is not in line with the reality, that becomes an example of an otherwise evaluation. So moving on, when we rightly evaluate ourselves, then we have this confidence. Now I can see, what is my competence. I can see, I can evaluate correctly. I am my own reference. I can find out by myself. I am swatantra. There's not a very good word in English for swatantra. There is freedom and all, but doesn't really convey the same meaning. So I will say that I am self-referential or self-organized, that I decide for myself. And when I decide for myself, then my behavior is consistent. I don't depend on outside that somebody tells me how to do things. But when somebody over-evaluates me, so if I take an example first of right evaluation, so when it comes to say clothes, So I don't go by what other people are wearing. If other people are wearing, faded jeans with the tone something because that's the in thing or that's the style or that is how people are doing things, I don't get so influenced by it because I evaluate for myself. I wear clothes that are comfortable for me. So, if I, as whatever clothes I wear, if denim jeans are very tight, skin tight, even if it is the fashion, if they are not comfortable for me, I don't wear them. I wear things that I find comfortable, that are loose fitting. Maybe I might want to wear cotton clothes, which allow, good air exchange to happen so that I feel more relaxed with it, regardless of whatever the fashion is, whatever the in thing is. So that would be one example. Now, here, like I mentioned, we are not really looking at the outside for our own evaluation. We are basing our own evaluation on ourselves, not about, we don't worry about what others are thinking or saying about us. But when somebody over evaluates us, then we go into ego. So if I wear a great dress and somebody compliments me, I start thinking, oh, I look so good and I'm so wonderful and all those things. So I go into ego. Now here my behavior is not in my control anymore. The other is my reference. So whatever the other decides, based on that, I have my behavior. So it will be indefinite. It will not be consistent. Today, somebody says, this is a great dress you're wearing. I will start wearing that dress. Tomorrow, somebody says, Arey, this dress went out of fashion 10 years ago. I will stop wearing that dress. So like that. So it will be, I will be doing things based on what other people think of me. So it's like I don't have control over myself anymore. I'm being controlled by others. My remote control is in the other person's hand. Similarly, when somebody under or over evaluates me, then I might go into low self-esteem. Like somebody mentioned, that when somebody under evaluates, we feel useless because somewhere we feel very low. Our self-esteem drops because we think that whatever they are saying is real. So now here again, we are dependent on the other person. The other person is my reference. So I don't have any consistent behavior. My conduct or my behavior is indefinite. And it is based on whatever the other person is telling me. So similarly, this problem, when I keep looking at the other person as my reference, when I don't evaluate myself correctly, then I'm living with all these different assumptions because I have not rightly evaluated myself. And therefore, there is some disturbance inside me. There is disharmony within. There is some tension. There is some frustration. It can lead to depression. And we all know that when depression is too much at any particular moment, if we feel so depressed, sometimes it can lead to suicide also. So I keep having these mood swings, up and down, which somebody also asked, why we keep having this. Or so because we don't rightly evaluate ourselves, either we go into ego or we go into depression based on what other people are telling us. And therefore, we have all these mood swings. And we keep going round and round between depression and ego and get into this cycle. Does this happen sometimes? I'd like to get some responses from all of you. Does this make sense? Does this happen with us sometimes, that we are having mood swings up and down? Yes, we are getting a lot of yeses here.
So many of them are saying yes. In fact, on the YouTube also we are getting.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so we are all able to see this. So now we can see that if we rightly evaluate, we won't have this problem. Then we won't depend on the outside. So now the question comes, how do we rightly evaluate? So will this right evaluation be on the basis of the self or the body? What do you feel? Self or body? How would we rightly evaluate? We are getting a lot of self responses. I don't think even one response came for body. Okay, both self and
Someone
body.
said both self and body, but most of them are saying self.
Yeah.
In fact, when we look at YouTube also, over here, we are getting similar responses.
Nice, very
They are
nice. So we
saying
are able to
self.
see that. Nice, very nice. So I think we are all able to see that when we talk of right evaluation in terms of the feeling of respect, this right evaluation has to be based on the self, because remember we said feelings are in the self, not in the body. So now if we look on the basis of the self, if we look at our purpose, we said that we want to live with happiness and prosperity in continuity. Similarly, the other also wants to live with continuous happiness and prosperity. So on the basis of our natural acceptance, what is naturally acceptable to us, our purpose is the same. So for all of us, that purpose is the same. If we look a little further, so what is the program? Like when I want happiness and prosperity, what do I need to do to achieve it? So my program or my plan of action is to understand and to live in harmony at all the levels that I interact with. So individually within myself, harmony within myself, harmony within my family, harmony in society, and harmony in the nature, the environment around me. So if I really want continuous happiness and prosperity, I will need to understand all of these and to be able to live in harmony with all of these. So similarly, the program of the year is also to understand and to live in harmony at all these 4 levels. So our program is also the same. Now, if we look at the potential in the sense, I have natural acceptance, the other person also has natural acceptance. I have an imagination going on inside me, desires, thoughts, expectations, they continuously keep going inside me. The other person also has. So this we are talking at the level of self, right? So our imagination, desires, thoughts, expectations, the content of the imagination may be different, but they are continuously going on within me. And I have this faculty of natural acceptance. We have all been able to experiment with it. We have all been able to explore the proposals. We have been talking about them now for a few days. So I can see that through my natural acceptance, I am able to get this answer, and all of us are. So we all have desires, thoughts, and expectations going on continuously. We all have natural acceptance. So our potential is also the same. So now we can see that in all these aspects, the purpose, the program, potential, all of these are similar in all of us. So this is the minimum content of respect, that the other is similar to me. So I can see this. Can I get some responses? Do we feel this is true for us, or do we feel that it's not right for us, or do we feel something different?
Devat Krishna is saying yes. So many of them are saying yes. Sridharan is saying yes. So we are getting so many yes from our participants. It's true.
Nice. Very nice. And YouTube also, can we have some of the responses from there?
Didi, all true, true, true. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. Very nice. Okay. So now we can see this, that this should be the minimum content of respect, that the other is similar to me. But if we look now, these are the similarities at the level of the self, purpose, program, potential. But we can also see that there are differences between one human being and another. So we can see that at the level of the body, we have some differences. If you see at the level of age, children, older people, and so on, we can see difference in the body. gender, males versus females. There's a difference at the level of the body, the race, whether it is a European race or whether it is the African race or whatever. There is difference at the level of the body. We can see differences. Strength, some people have a body that has a lot of strength. Some people have a body that doesn't have so much strength. So these are all differences that we have between one human being and another at the level of the body. Similarly, we see a lot of differences today in society in terms of the physical facilities. So somebody is at a very high post, has a lot of money. Somebody is at a very lower post, has very little money. So there are differences on the basis of wealth, how much wealth we possess. So differences at, what kind of position I'm at in a government job. There could be one who has a position of janitor who's cleaning up. There could be a person who is the director who is at a different, very high post. So there are differences on the basis of this also. And of course, we have a lot of differences on the basis of our belief systems. So somebody has ideas on, they believe in capitalism, other people believe in socialism, somebody else believes in communism. Similarly, we form different sects or groups based on whatever our belief system is. Sometimes we even make groups and sort of have differences in terms of information that we have. So like now you are you just entering the college, engineering college. So you may have, on the basis of the information that you get in college, you may see differences between yourself and those who do some other, they learn some other skill. So say doctors are there. So people going into medical college, you may find that you have differences from them. So all these are differences between one human being and another human being. So now let us look at in our living, are we trying to accept the other person as being similar to me, or are we trying to show that we are different from the other? And are we trying to sort of have this feeling of respect for those who are like me in any of these ways, body, physical facility, or beliefs? Or are we trying to see that we can be similar? So what are we trying to do? Can we take your opinion about this? We are getting some nice mixed responses, but very sincere responses also. At least on Zoom, we are able to see many responses of B also, that we are trying to be different. What about YouTube?
Didi, it is mixed response.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
more of A.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so this is something that we can explore. Remember, we are doing this as a self-exploration exercise. So these were all proposals that we are putting, and we have to think about them very sincerely, and see that in our living, what are we doing? Which means it's not just going to be thinking about it. We have to experiment with this in real life when we interact with other human beings, when we interact within the family, when we interact outside the family, with our friends, with neighbors, with the people who might be working in our house. There may be somebody, lady might be coming to cook food in our homes. Do I behave the same way? Do I have the same kind of feelings for that lady's child as I do for somebody who's wealthy, their child, and so on? So these are some things that we can think about and then experiment with in our day-to-day living and see, are we really trying to accept the other person as being similar, or are we trying to show a lot of times that we are different from the other person? So if, when you go to college, there will be students, other students who come from different backgrounds. Somebody might come from a rural background. Somebody might come from a city background. Somebody might have very good English speaking skills. Somebody may not be able to speak English very well. So are we trying to show that we are different from them, or are we trying to accept that they are similar to us? This is something that we can all think about and check in our living to see what is happening in reality. So now what we are saying is that respect is right evaluation on the basis of the self, and we saw that our purpose, program, and potential is the same. So in that respect, other is similar to me. But there are some differences also. And that difference, even at the level of self, we're talking about the competence here. So competence is what? So here we saw that we can see on the basis of natural acceptance that our purpose, program, and potential is same. But when I'm thinking, when my imagination is going on, when the thoughts are going on, they may or may not be in line with my natural acceptance. So how much of my thoughts are in line with the natural acceptance, that is what decides what my competence is. So now what I can do is, if the other person has a different competence from mine, I need not show the other person as different from me. I need not consider the other person as different from me. What I can also do is that I can rightly evaluate that person's competence. I can rightly evaluate my competence and see how we can help each other, how we can be complementary to each other. So if some other student who comes in the college is very good at maths, but he's very poor in English, say, I'm just taking an example. But my English is good and my maths is weak. So I can help the other person can help me, rather than create more of difference and disrespect on the basis of these differences. So when we rightly evaluate the competence, then I can see who has more competence than me, who has less competence than me. And then accordingly, I can help the other person and take help from the other person. I hope this is, we are able to follow this. Are you all able to see this, understand this? Can I have some yes or no's? Yes. Okay. Nice. YouTube also, can we see if we are getting yeses? Are we able to follow this, what we are talking about? Okay. All right.
In
Nice.
fact, Shrestha Yadav has written, your explanation is very good.
Okay. Good. If we can understand, that's very nice. Now, so if what we were saying is that if the other person has more understanding than me, if the other person is more responsible than me, then I can learn from the other. I can understand from the other. And of course, if I have more understanding, that means I have to take on more responsibility. I have to behave more responsibly. And then I will live with responsibility with the other without getting disturbed by their behavior. And this will be unconditional. It will not be that I will be responsible in my behavior only if they don't get angry or only if they do such and such thing. It will not be conditional. I will live with responsibility regardless of their behavior. Why? Because I'm the one with more understanding. So I am the one with more responsibility then. And then I will assure them of the relationship. How are we assuring them in the relationship? Because when I keep behaving responsibly with them, they will be able to see that. And they will have now trust in me, trust on my intention. So they will be assured. And then I can help to facilitate this understanding in the other. I can help the other understand. So I'll just go over it one more time in case if it was too many things. So what we are saying is that even though we are similar in terms of our purpose, program, and potential, there is a difference even at the level of self between us and others. And this difference is at the level of our competence. So what is this competence? Like we said, we all have natural acceptance. Now, whenever I am thinking or my thoughts and all are going in line with my natural acceptance, then I have this understanding and I am going in the right direction, I am in harmony within. But whenever my thoughts are not in line with my natural acceptance, then I am uncomfortable inside. I am not in harmony inside, and that means I have less competence. So what do I need to do? I don't need to differentiate between my competence and somebody else's competence. I can rightly evaluate my competence. I can rightly evaluate the other person's competence. And then I can see how we can help each other, how we can be complementary to each other. So what we said is that if the other person has more understanding, if the other person is more responsible than me, then I can try to understand from the other. I need not go into ego and think that I know it all, because I can see that the other person has more understanding. So it's okay to, try to understand from the other. But if I have more understanding and I am more responsible, then of course I have to live with responsibility with the other person. And I need not get disturbed by the other person's behavior. I need not put conditions on my behavior and say that only if the person behaves properly with me, only then will I live with responsibility. No, I will live with responsibility with the other all the time. And when I live with responsibility, then the other person will see that my intention is right. The other person will be assured in the relationship. The other person will have this trust on my intention. And then I can help the other person understand. Otherwise, the other person may not try to take help from me. So now we'll take some questions. I think, whether this is clear or not, we'll just double check. So anybody has questions, we can take them up now. Some raised hands are there.
So how do we judge a person? How do we form an unbiased judgment?
Yeah. So what we are saying is we are evaluating on the basis of the self. So on the basis of the self, we are able to see this purpose, program, potential is all the same for everybody. This is a given, right? We all want to be happy. We all want to be prosperous. All that we have discussed earlier, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes.
So our purpose, program, potential is all the same. The only place where we are different is the competence. So,
Okay.
so that is what I need to just rightly evaluate. I can see, in the behavior it will reflect. If somebody is shouting, obviously they don't have enough competence. And if I think I have more competence, then I should not be shouting back. Somebody will be having more competence, isn't it?
Okay.
So the responsibility is now with me. So if the other person has more understanding, I learn from them. If the other person has less understanding, then I behave responsibly with them and try to help them. Right?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I
Clear?
have one more question.
Yes.
Ma'am, so when we evaluate a person, won't it lead to us reacting to what they're doing? But, when we just rather observe how they are and, observe without, just observe and not evaluate, or tell them anything or form judgments, wouldn't observation lead to us responding better to them rather than, forming evaluations and judgments?
Yeah. So here we are mixing up evaluation and judgment. So we are not saying to make we are not using this evaluation in a negative connotation. What we are saying is, anyway, we keep evaluating things, isn't it? To do anything, we have to rightly evaluate it. Whether
Yes,
it be a
ma'am.
situation, whether it be myself, whether it be another human being. So first of all, let me make the right evaluation for myself. And let me not get disturbed by anything outside. Let me build my competence so that I don't get disturbed by what somebody else is saying about me or somebody else is doing. So first responsibility is that let me become in harmony. And then let me see that what is the right evaluation of the other person. Obviously, if the other person is misbehaving, he doesn't have that much competence. So I can't expect him to behave properly because he doesn't have the competence. So if I think I have more competence, now I can behave responsibly and then I will be able to help the other person. But if I myself am not in harmony, I am really not in a position to help anybody. In fact, I will, become part of the problem. I will shout back, I will react.
Yes.
Are you able to see the difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, I have a doubt, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Everyone don't judge all the time in right evaluation. Why should we judge people when...
Rather use the term evaluate rather than judge, because we use judgment in more or less a negative kind of way. This is not something
But then
that...
it's not a purpose to judge everyone, no, ma'am. When it's not needed, why are we judging everyone?
This is what I'm saying. We are not judging, we are rightly evaluating. So if you have to do a test, if you have to prepare for a test, are you going to evaluate what you know about it and what you don't know? Or are you just going to go just like that for the exam?
Evaluate.
You will evaluate your condition, no? Whether what's your competence level. So
Yes, ma'am.
actually, if you think about it, we are constantly evaluating. When somebody passes in front of you, you do make some evaluation of the other person based on appearance or based on the way they talk or something. So what we are saying is, let's do it with the right evaluation on the basis of the self. Right now, we are evaluating on the basis of what they look like, what kind of clothes they wear, how they talk, and then we pass judgment on them. So that is a little bit different from what we are saying. We are saying, let's evaluate them on the basis of the self. And on the basis of the self, they are similar to me in all respects, except for this competence part. And that need not be something that we need to differentiate. That can be something that we can use to sort of help each other. We can collaborate, we can become complementary to each other. We need not compete. We need not show that we are different. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Can we have some YouTube questions if they are there?
Didi, many parents are appreciating. And there is a question related to responsibility. Hindi Mitran is asking, if I am responsible, and what happens if sometimes others are not committed to their responsibilities?
Yeah. So what this means is, am I really more responsible? Do I really have more understanding? Do I really have more competence? Because if I have more competence, if I have more understanding, then I will be able to see that even if the other person is behaving badly with me, it will not affect me. I will not get disturbed. Right now, I am not in a harmony myself. That's why whatever somebody else's behavior is, I'm getting affected by that. So here, I really don't have that much understanding, and my competence is also low. So I need to work on my competence. How do I work on my competence? I start exploring these proposals and I start seeing with, what is the other's intention to start with, and then seeing that the other person, if they are shouting, they already have less competence. So if I can see this, that they have less competence and I have more competence, now it is my responsibility. And if I don't do this as my responsibility, then each time somebody shouts at me, I become unhappy. And I spoil my mood for another God knows how many days, because I keep thinking about it. I keep creating unhappiness. The person may have shouted and gone away in 2 minutes, but I keep thinking about it and creating unhappiness for myself for hours, days, weeks, months, sometimes for a lifetime, and hold on to those feelings. So, if I can see that I am more responsible, then I need not do that. I need not live so unhappily. And if I can see this, then I will be able to live in a much more happier state. And I think we already said that we all want to do that. So I hope that will answer the question.
Ji, Didi.
Ji.
Didi, Nikita Kandaru wants to know,
In fact, she is on Zoom as well as on YouTube. Both ways she's writing the same question. I was also reading that same question. Go ahead, Meenu ma'am.
Didi, she wants to know how is she supposed to react if somebody she trusts stops trusting her?
Okay. So first of all, I will say we need not react, we can respond. So just because the other is doubting our intention, we need not doubt their intention. So when we say betray the trust or didn't trust, somewhere if it is bothering me, that means I am not trusting their intention, first of all. I am not seeing their relatedness. I'm not seeing that relationship that I have with them. So when I don't see that, then it bothers me. And whenever they shout, I start, having this feeling of opposition within me. So the first thing to do is to build up my competence. Like I was just mentioning to the other question, I was just saying the same thing. So that means somewhere that my competence is lacking and I need to build my competence. And how do I? First of all, see the intention of the other person. Just like my intention is to make the other person happy, the other person's intention is also to make me happy. And if they are shouting or if they are behaving badly or they are not trusting or some behavior like this, then I can see that their competence is low. So if I think my competence is more, then I have to behave responsibly with them. And then only can I think about helping them. Otherwise, I will keep feeling unhappy potential. Here, other is similar. Where we are different is the competence. And this is what is the complete content of respect. That the other is not only similar to me, that the other is that we are complementary to each other also. So I think we already asked this question more or less. But if you are able to see this, you can answer this. Do I agree to this? Strongly agree, and all those questions. So if you are able to see what we've talked about, you can answer. I am getting lots of A's, so it's nice. Very nice. And hopefully the same responses we'll be getting on YouTube, because hopefully it is clear to all of us.
Ji Didi.
Nice. Very nice.
Similar responses on YouTube too.
Yeah. So very briefly, we'll talk a little bit about peer pressure, although we have discussed it earlier, before I go on to sum it up. So when we are trying to get respect from the other, we keep trying to do things their way. We try to see their way of looking at things. We try to do things the way they do them. So we talk about this like language, clothes, and so on. And this is the reason why we, what we call peer pressure, we try to do things the way other people are doing. But whenever we have the feeling of respect on the basis of the understanding of the human being, that seeing that respect is a feeling in the self, then I can see that I can have this feeling of respect for everyone, including myself. So I don't have to try to get this feeling from somebody else. I don't have to depend on somebody else to get this so-called feeling of respect, because I can see that this is a feeling that I can have within myself if I rightly evaluate myself. So I will work on that, and then I will not feel under pressure to try to be like the other person, try to behave like the other person, because I can see that respect doesn't have anything to do with the clothes you wear or the language that you speak or the kind of, the wealth that you have or any of these things. Respect is a feeling in the self. It has to do with the self. So now we'll sum up the respect. That when we try to get respect from other people, we try to conform to their way of looking at things and doing things. And that's how we get into this peer pressure sort of loop. But when we have the feeling of respect on the basis of understanding, and we understand that the human being is self and body, and this feeling of respect is in the self, then we have the feeling of respect for everyone, including ourselves. Then I don't have to be dependent on getting this feeling from the other person. So I don't feel the need, I don't feel the pressure to conform to the other person. So respect is right evaluation. And this is possible only with a feeling of trust on intention. Remember, we talked of trust being the foundation value without which the relationship can't go forward. This is why. Because to start with, we have to have the feeling of trust on intention. If we don't have trust on intention, we will not have respect, because the moment we don't have the feeling of trust on intention, we start getting irritated, start getting angry, because we don't see that relationship with the other person. So obviously, the relationship will not move forward because we don't see it to start with. So once we have this feeling of trust on intention, then we rightly evaluate, which is respect. And we said that under, over, otherwise evaluation is disrespect. Any form of differentiation is disrespect. And when we are talking of respect, respect is on the basis of self. The other is like me, and we are complementary to each other. So this is the complete content of respect. And I think there will be an assignment here. Maybe Vanchana ji, could you read out the assignment? If anybody has maybe time for one more question. No, I'm not
Yes. We can take one question and then I'll read the assignment for our participants.
Yeah.
So we have Temi Zelsi R, one of our students.
Yeah.
Or maybe Minakshi ji, one of our students. Or Harshit.
Minakshi, mic is unmuted.
Yes.
Go ahead, Minakshi. You have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you have said that if the other person is responsible, we want to follow them. But how can we know that he is understanding or not?
Yeah. So we are not saying that we have to follow them, but we can understand from the other. If the other person has more understanding, then we can understand from them. How do we know they have more understanding? They will behave responsibly with me, right? So if the other
Yes,
person
ma'am.
is shouting, if the other person is misbehaving, then I know that the other person doesn't have more understanding. I don't see them behaving responsibly, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So if I can see that they don't have that understanding, and if I think that I have more understanding, then I can be behaving responsibly with them without getting disturbed. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome. So I think we'll stop. 1 o'clock ho gaya, because we should stop in time. Maybe Vanchana ji, you can read out the...
Yes. I'll just explain the assignment for our participants. So this assignment for our participants is, do you interact the same way to a person from your own region, your own sect, speaking your own language, and a person from another region, another sect, speaking a different language? Right? We have to see for ourselves, is our interaction the same for a person who is wearing a dhoti and a person who is wearing a suit, or a person who is speaking in English and a person who is speaking in Hindi or some local dialect, some local language? Explore the reasons within yourself. When you differentiate, do you feel comfortable within? When you do it for yourself and when somebody else does it for you. Write a few sentences to elaborate on this. This is one part of the assignment. Another part is observe yourself. Right? Just keenly observe yourself. Are you special, unique, different from the others, or similar to others? This is something we have to observe within ourselves. Do you tend to compete or collaborate with your classmates? When are you at more ease? When do you feel this harmony within you? When do you feel this being comfortable within you? You have to describe your feelings in this regard. And another assignment for you is, what is naturally acceptable to each one of us? To differentiate or to be complementary to the other students, which includes students from the other states, other countries than your own, right? Your faculty, staff, whatever your surroundings are. So suggest one way in which you can be complementary to the above. This is the assignment. For our participants, the quiz link is now going to be open from 1 p.m. onwards till 2. So first our participants need to attempt the quiz, and then the assignment, which is in the form of Google form, will be opened from 2 p.m. onwards, and they have this whole time, and they have to submit it before 9:30 in the morning. So I hope all our participants are clear with this and they can submit the quiz first. Of course, we have to proceed with the lunch, but before that, I would just like to remind all our participants regarding the schedule for the remaining day. So at 2 o'clock, we have this special session where we can just have that slide. Yes.
Meanwhile, I say namaste to everybody and thank you for patiently listening. Namaste.
Bilkul. So we all had this highly interactive session where we understood feeling. Now regarding the schedule further, so 1 to 2 is of course lunch break for us, and the meeting room will be open from 1:45 onwards. So our participants can join from 1:45 onwards, and in case they want to put forth their sharings, we'll provide them mic. From 2 p.m. onwards, we have this SIP module 7, which is the literary activity. And today, we can just move ahead, sir. We have this in our literary section. We have Yashodeep Deodharji. He is there to have this discussion. He is an independent researcher on Valmiki Ramayana, and he'll be putting forth his thoughts regarding this. So after this SIP module 7 from 2 to 3, from 3:15 onwards, we'll have physical and health related module, which will run in both Hindi as well as in English. So our participants can make a choice and they can either join in English or in Hindi based on their choice. We'll have Dr. Sundarraj Perumalji for the English session, and a parallel session will be running in Hindi also for our participants. And followed by this, we have our SIP module 8 of creative practices from 4:30 onwards, where Arjun Asthanaji will be interacting with our participants, and we'll be taking up sharing also from our participants. So there would be sharing session also in that particular session. And since our participants have this whole information that they can participate in the form of various projects based on various themes. So with this, maybe it's time for the lunch break. So we'll proceed with the lunch break and we can rejoin back from 1:45 onwards for our SIP module 7, that is literature or literary activities. So namaste to all our participants, and we remind our participants to attempt the quiz. It's open only from 1 to 2, and followed by that assignment will be there. That link will open after the quiz is over. Namaste and see you all.